Welcome to mulesoft tutorial. Today I am going to demonstrate you for the Mule4 JMS connector. I can show you to how can we receive a message and publish a message to JMS Broker. We are going to use below operations on new message, publish, acknowledge, consume and publish consume operation. So let's go ahead and create a new project. You can give some name, Mule4 sample JMS service. So a skeleton project is created now. So I'm going to use, let's go ahead, and I need the JMS, so I can add the module here. I can add module JMS. Now on JMS we first use on new message, which will act as a source. I'll click on new, and here I will define the ActiveMQ libraries. I will do the add Maven dependency, and it should add the dependency. I will click on the finish dependency. We can keep as it is same, specification 1.1, caching strategy default. We can keep it like the sachet. Also we can keep the sachet producer and consumers. It will help to also like the throughput also, so it will not create the every time new session, new producer and new consumer. Let's define the username and password here. And in this configuration I can provide here edit inline. Inside the broker I will provide this TCP localhost 61616, and I'm going to use the ActiveMQ. So before that you have to also install the ActiveMQ as well. So you can download the ActiveMQ from here, and after the download of the zip file you can go inside this folder, inside this bin and win64. Here you can right click and run as administrator. It will install this service on your system. Now I will show you to start the service. So once you install, then you can get this ActiveMQ in services section, and you can start by clicking this. So ActiveMQ is now up and running. Let's check the status here. Yeah, so it is up and running now. We can see there is no queue at this moment. Perfect. So we have defined this edit inline, and we can keep everything same, and the consumer at this moment leave as it is same. By default there are 4 consumers, and if you want you can increase the number of consumer as well. So I will just click on OK. Here destination, we can use the consumer time as a queue consumer, and destination we can give the something test hyphen inbound. Here acknowledgement mode. Okay, so in acknowledgement mode there are 4 type of the acknowledgement. One is the auto means Mule take cares about the acknowledgement. Whenever your flow completes successfully, then it will automatically acknowledge that. Dupes OK is duplicate OK, is also similar kind of the auto acknowledgement, but this acknowledge into the lazy mode. Sometimes what happen like the it acknowledge, but after some time, so in that case duplicate will happen. You could flow can receive the duplicate message. So if flow doesn't have any problem with duplicate, then you can use that, because it acknowledges in lazy lazy manners which improve the performance as well. So might be you can avoid in all of the scenario, but in this some scenario matters. Immediate, this is the very risky one. Why it is risky? Because once the source consume this message, that time itself it acknowledges the message, so message got removed from the broker itself, so you can't retrieve that message again. If your flow doesn't handle that message properly, then it means that message will get lost. So be careful while using immediate. Manual. I mostly prefer the manual because on the manual acknowledgement mode you will have the full control for your message. Whenever you want you can acknowledge the message, but if you haven't acknowledged the message, then message will stay at the broker, and whenever you want you can consume the message again. So that's one of the features I like a lot in the JMS. So for this example I will just show you the auto, then we can go ahead and we can use the other acknowledgement mode as well. At this moment number of consumers is 4, which is more than enough for your system, but this will give you the very high throughput, mostly like kind of the depends on your flow, it can give you 5000 or 6000 TPS. But if you have a more than requirement you can increase that, but also make sure your flow have capability to deal with that much throughput, otherwise it will be a bottleneck. I mean you are receiving a message kind of 6000 TPS, but your flow is processing only the 1000 or 100 TPS, that will not help you. So in that case, like you can reduce a consumer or you can increase the consumer based on your requirement. Response. At this moment I will leave simple, I will leave the default, but depends on your requirement you can configure this all this. And also there is one more property, reply to. Reply to also you can configure, like while receiving the message on the successful processing you can reply to one of the any of the target queue. That's also you can choose this property. So I kept this everything optional. Okay, only I selected auto acknowledgement mode is the auto at this moment. This is a queue consumer and my queue name is test inbound. I will add one logger here. So I can type here something. Saved message payload. Perfect. That's it. At this moment we will do only this. Let's go ahead and start this application. So application is started and deployed as well. Now let's go ahead and check this ActiveMQ. I will just refresh. So JMS connector by default it will like the, if you have defined this queue, then it will create this queue name because it's auto configure inside this broker and the connector as well, so which will create the source queue. We are going to publish some message. Let's go ahead and publish any message. Just we will define this. Welcome to so I send the message and we can see we have successfully we have received this message, and when we refresh this page then we can see there is no pending message because that message is auto acknowledged. Now I'm going to use the manual acknowledgement. Just for example I will just give the selected the manual, that's it. Just save it. So application started now. Let's publish one message again. Hello. Sorry, I published the message earlier. So now you can see that I published this message hello, and Mule application received that message as well, hello. But if I will go here, and when I will see the message, I can still see there is one message here, because that message is not acknowledged yet. Unless you acknowledge the message will be not removed from the broker. So we have to use the acknowledgement here. We can use the ACK operation. In the ACK operation, we have to define the ACK ID which is coming in the attributes. So we can select the attributes and define ACK ID. That's so let's wait for the application redeployment. Okay, now application started, and also it processed also like the received message payload hello. So now if you'll go, and we can see that like there is no pending message. Same thing, we can hello, we can publish kind of number of messages here, kind of 100. We can see all the messages are incurred here, and we have received all the messages. So this is perfect. Now manual acknowledgement is working fine, auto is also fine. Now let's go ahead and we can publish the message to any other destination. Let's involve the publish, and in the publish we can use the same connector configuration, and we can define the target queue, test outbound. Destination type queue, and we can keep everything same. So message body you can change, but I will keep as it is same at this moment, but depends on your requirement you can modify the message body as well. This is the one of the another good feature in Mule 4. So let's go here, let's wait for the deployment. So application is started. Now let's go ahead and refresh the page here. So there is no other outbound queue. So once we will publish this message, welcome, then we can see here message got like the message received and processed as well. So what we will do, we will just refresh the page here, and we can see the outbound message is coming onto the target destination, test outbound. So now the publish is also done. Now we can also do one thing, like we can use the selector and see on the selector how it is working. So for the selector, what we can do here, so for the selector, let's go ahead and I will define one priority, something like JMS priority 8. So it should consume the message only for the JMS 8 priority. And let's receive that. And I will add one more logger here. Where it will just print completed processing successfully. So just kind of the annotation, so it will not just like the process. So let's wait for the application redeployment. Okay, so application deployed successfully now, I will clear the message now. Okay, so now there is nothing. I'll publish now something hello, publish something like 100 messages. I am not going to change any priority for this 100 messages, just keep the default. Okay, we can see that messages are still here. Our application has not received that message at all because we have set the selector criteria as JMS priority equal to 8. So it will receive a message only for the 8 priority. So let's go and change the publish one more message with the something increment priority, something like high priority message. Can define here priority at, and let's send it. So publish the message, but we can see the message count 100 because one extra message that got transferred to the target destination, and we can see in this logger as well. High priority message and completed process successfully. That's how you can use the something like the selector with the source endpoint. And we have a two more thing, that's a JMS consume and the publish consume. So consume is basically mainly beneficial when you want to consume ad hoc, like the it's like the you want to consume only one message at the mid of the flow. This will be also useful in terms of the replay framework as well. So we can use the consume operation here, and we can use the same JMS config and the same queue name you can define any like the any intermediate queue, and whenever the call will come here, so this will try and this will consume the message here. Consumer time also we can select and something like test intermediate. Okay, something like this, control S, and I will define here the logger. So let's use it here. Consumer egg mode, let's give this something like immediate. That's it, and I will define here something payload, so we can get to know what the payload we have received. Can give here payload. Okay, now okay, so now we can go here and let's create one queue here, and here we will publish one message just for the identification, something like we will give meet message. Okay, so I will just purge the all other messages. Okay, test outbound pass. Okay, now let's go ahead and okay, application got restarted. Okay, now let's publish one message. We are going to publish the message with hello, and we are going to change the priority because our source is listening to the only the 8 priority. We will publish the message here and we will see we publish the message hello, but at the end of the flow we received the message mid message because that message got received from the intermediate queue. So the benefit of this consume operation, that we can call this operation, we can call from the any of the mid flow. You can also use with the scheduler, polar or the cron expression. That's one of the good feature in the Mule 4. And another point is here, publish and consume here. So there is one more pattern into the JMS we mainly use, that like the publish and consume pattern. So whenever you publish this message, then it will wait for the consumption, and like if the message received between that time period, then it's fine, otherwise it will throw the error, timeout error kind of. So that's one of the another cool features which you can try, which you can use, depends on your need. So however, I am going to check in into this repository, so you can try to your system as well and play around it, and you can download the projects from here at this locations, Mule for sample JMS service. Thanks for your time, guys.